Hi, this is Praveen. I'm here at ITB Asia, and we're having an awesome day on day two. We've met quite a number of potential partners, and we have a lot of introductions happening. And I'm pleased to welcome a good friend of ours and a company that we work very closely with, Jay from RatePing. So, hi Jay, how are you?
Good, Praveen.
Yeah.
Pleasure to see you here
Likewise,
in
very,
Singapore.
very nice to meet you finally.
Yeah,
Even though we are in the same country.
exactly.
So it's awesome to be here, and so just give us a bit of an intro. The stuff that you're doing is so interesting, so tell us a bit more about it and how you think it can sort of benefit hotels in the current scenario.
Sure. So I'm Jaideep, founder of RatePing. What we call ourselves is a pricing intelligence company, or as the industry would call it, a rate shopper on steroids. So we help hotels basically track their competitors' rates in real time. But we also integrate with the PMS, of course. So we're able to see where the opportunities lie for future dates, where the hotels can tweak their prices to maximize revenue. And on top of that, we also work with many hotels who don't have in-house revenue managers. So we then become the outsourced revenue management team for them.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit about the countries that you're sort of active in, and maybe you can share some insights based on the countries. Like so some countries, certain things are happening which are sort of not happening in other countries, for example,
Sure.
right? And you guys, because you look at the forward bookings, you look at the past, and then you sort of work out where there could be potential opportunities for hotels where they're leaving money on the table, as you
Exactly.
say.
Yeah. So we work largely in India, New Zealand, and US. I would say these are the three markets where we've got a decent customer base. Nowhere close to you guys, but we'll get there someday. But what we're noticing that's quite interesting now is last minute bookings, right? So this was already a trend pre-COVID, but post-COVID, we're seeing more and more that at least 60-70% of the bookings are coming in one day prior to check-in or even on the same day. And what that does for hotels is it further emphasizes the importance of having to see who's doing what. The margin for error basically is too small, right? If for 2-3 hours in the day you're overpriced compared to the other hotels in the market, you're not going to be able to get to that sold out position that you need to be at.
Yes.
So
Yes.
seeing what everyone's doing in real time is super important. And of course, with people being on the move during the operation, having a cloud-based PMS, I think, is something that people really need to be sort of going towards. So the shrinking booking window is something that we thought was only in India, but now it's in all markets. New Zealand as well, where people used to book much further out, is now shrinking a lot there as well.
Yeah, but now there was something interesting I learned this time when I came here and was speaking to some of the hoteliers about the F1 that happened here, right? And according to them, it was an insane time for the hotels. It's never been experienced before where they were in a 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, the nightly rate was $1,500.
Wow.
Which is insane, right?
Yeah.
But now there was no way hotels could have seen that, or is there some way you think based on patterns or trends that they could have anticipated that and not sold out their inventory too early and sort of retain things for future down the line? The same thing's probably happening now with FIFA as well. Right? Some hotels have sold out their inventory a bit earlier, but now as we're getting nearer the event, there's potential there to sell at a higher rate, right? So how do you think, is there some way that hotels can think this scenario through before they price, as considering the last minute thing that's going on?
Yeah, so a metric that we look at really closely when we do revenue management for hotels is where you were at the same time last year, right? So say 90 days leading up to the event, what occupancy base were you sitting on? And if you're pacing ahead of the previous year, then we know that demand is pretty good. So if you take an example, F1, right? So hotels know that this time they sold out too early. But next time, say 30 days prior to the event, if they're sitting at like a 50-60% occupancy, I would say they should be confident enough to really jack up their rates. What we've actually done sometimes when we know the city is going to be sold out is we completely block the inventory across all channels, and we wait till everyone's sold out and then open it up last minute, and we're the only game in town. And people really have no option but to, charge whatever the hotel rate is commanding. not to exploit, because you don't want it to go too high where people start complaining about the price and then your review score takes a hit. But I think these kind of opportunities don't come every day, so got to
But
make
that's an
sure you
interesting point you
optimize.
raised, right? Like the fact that you got to be sensible as well with your pricing, right? Like you
Yeah.
can't be pricing so far beyond your comp set
Yeah.
that it brings a negative reputation, right? So
Yeah.
does your system sort of give some insights into that at all, or like how do you think that hotels should be looking at that angle, because that's important too?
Yeah, it does. So actually, we track two things very closely apart from the prices of the comp set, which is what is your review score and how many reviews do you have on each OTA.
Right.
But more importantly, when someone is scrolling through the app of, say, a Booking.com or an Agoda, where does your hotel actually show up
Right.
on that ranking, right? Do you have to scroll through 200 hotels to find your property, or are you showing up on like page 1, page 2, where the lion's share of the bookings are? So what we've seen is that there's a very close correlation between your review score and your ranking.
Right.
So the minute you get a couple of negative reviews and your score goes down a bit, you move down at least 3 or 4 pages in the ranking, and you see an immediate impact on your business. So that's why I think pricing is closely tied to it, because if you charge, $500 for a room that honestly is not worth anything more than 200, you're attracting a negative review.
Yes.
So there has to be some limit as to how high you go.
I think you're sort of setting the expectations high as well. I'm paying $500 for a room.
Correct.
I'd expect a certain
Exactly, and you can't change the room, but you can change the service element, right?
Yeah.
So when you've got an event in town where you've really tried to milk the customer, at least you can go to the next level with service.
Yes.
So you can't change the product,
Of course.
but anything like, even if it's a complimentary mini bar or a late checkout if it's possible,
Something to compensate.
anything to compensate for the fact that they've paid more than what they should have.
Great.
Yeah.
Great insights. I think these are quite critical now going into the busy season coming up, right?
Yeah.
With the Christmas New Year period, also the FIFA coming up in the Middle East. Like there's a lot of events coming up. So thank you so much. Really appreciate your time and your insights. We'd love to do more of these with you down the track.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Good educationary session we can do to just bring up to speed our customers and yours, on the PMS as well as the pricing aspect of things.
Sure.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Honor
much.
to be
All
here
right.
with you guys,
Likewise.
Praveen.
Thank you.